The sun dipped low behind the rugged cliffs as Ethan Carver swung his pickaxe one last time. He had spent weeks searching the abandoned Silver Ridge mine, convinced there was still something of value left behind. The townsfolk called him stubborn, but gold wasn't the only thing keeping him there. These mountains were the last place he remembered being truly alive. As he stepped deeper into the mine, lantern in hand, a sound echoed a soft shuffle. Ethan froze. The mine had been empty for years. Or so he thought. "Hello," he called. Voice steady but alert. A figure darted behind an old support beam. Ethan approached slowly, raising the lantern. "I won't hurt you." A young woman stepped into the light, clothes dusty, eyes wide with fear. "Please," she whispered, voice trembling, "don't let them find me." Ethan lowered the lantern. "Name, Gabriela," she breathed. "They're after me." He noticed her torn sleeve and the way she clutched her shoulder. She'd been running for a while. Ethan scanned the darkness behind her. Whoever she feared might still be close. "Come on," he said gently. "You're safe with me." "No," she whispered urgently. "You don't understand. They want what I know. They won't stop." Ethan studied the courage hidden behind her fear. Something in her eyes' determination, mixed with desperation, pulled him in. "We'll get you help," he said. "But we can't stay here." A distant echo of horses thundered outside the mine entrance. Gabriela flinched. Ethan's jaw tightened. "All right," he murmured. "We go deeper." He guided her down old tunnels he had mapped by heart. As they retreated into the cavern's cool shadows, Gabriela's voice wavered. "Why are you helping me?" Ethan didn't know how to answer. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe it was the way she looked at him, as though he was the first safe place she'd found in a long time. "Because you need someone," he finally said. "And I don't mind being that someone." For the first time, Gabriela's lips curved into a fragile smile. In that moment, Ethan realized something. He may not have struck gold in these mines, but he had discovered something far more precious. Ethan led Gabriela through winding tunnels until they reached an old chamber he'd cleared months ago. It was stocked with essentials tools, blankets, and a small stash of food. Gabriela collapsed onto a crate, exhausted, her breath uneven. "You've been running a long time," Ethan said quietly. She nodded. 3 days. "Ever since I saw them rob the mail wagon. They didn't know anyone was nearby. But I saw their faces. They saw me too." Ethan cursed under his breath. "Outlaws who attacked mail routes were ruthless. And they've been chasing you since." "Yes," she whispered. "I hid in this mine after my horse collapsed." Ethan knelt beside her, checking the bruise on her shoulder. "You're lucky it's not broken." Gabriela managed a small laugh. "Lucky hasn't been on my side lately." He cracked a faint smile. "Maybe that's changing." She watched him, eyes softening. "Why are you here, alone in this mine?" Ethan hesitated. It wasn't a story he shared often. "Looking for gold. But mostly looking for something worth keeping," he shrugged. "Haven't found much of either." Gabriela's gaze lingered on him. "Maybe you've been digging in the wrong places." Before he could answer, a sharp whistle echoed faintly through the tunnel's 3 short blasts. Outlaws were communicating. Ethan's expression hardened. "They're closer than I thought." Fear flickered across Gabriela's face. Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her arm. "I won't let them touch you." She swallowed. "You barely know me." "Doesn't matter," Ethan said. "No woman should face this alone." He grabbed his rifle and doused the lantern, plunging the chamber into darkness. Only a faint glimmer of daylight seeped from a distant shaft. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Gabriela pressed close. Ethan could feel her trembling, though she tried to hide it. In the quiet, he spoke low. "Listen, those men think they're hunting you, but they just walked into my mine." Her breath caught. "You're mine." Ethan smirked. "That's right. And I know every path, every dead end, every place to disappear." For the first time, Gabriela's fear eased. With Ethan guiding her, she felt something she hadn't felt in days' hope. The outlaw's footsteps drew nearer, but so did something else. The bond growing between the miner and the woman fate had hidden in his path. Ethan and Gabriela crouched behind a rock shelf as footsteps echoed through the tunnels. Lantern light flickered off the walls. Ethan steadied his rifle, muscles tense. "They're splitting up," he whispered. Gabriela clutched his sleeve. "There are at least 3 of them." "3, I can handle," he murmured. She looked at him, worry shining in her eyes. "I don't want you getting hurt because of me." He turned slightly toward her. "Gabriela, you're worth Her breath hitched. Even in the dim light, he could see her cheeks flush. Ethan waited until one outlaw passed their hiding spot. With swift precision, he jumped, tackled the man, and knocked him out cold. Gabriela gasped quietly. "You move like you've done this before," she whispered. Ethan wiped dust from his hands. "Used to be a sheriff's deputy, before life took a turn." Gabriela blinked. "A lawman was," he said simply. They continued deeper into the tunnels. Ethan lit a small lamp hidden behind rocks, giving them a safe glow. Gabriela studied his face, admiring the quiet strength there. "What happened?" she asked gently. Ethan hesitated. "My partner got greedy, took bribes, framed me when I wouldn't join him." He shrugged. "Town turned on me. I left." Gabriela's heart ached. "I'm sorry, Ethan." He looked away. "Started prospecting. Figured gold. Don't lie." "And have you found any?" Ethan met her eyes. "Maybe I just did." Gabriela's breath stilled. No one had ever spoken to her like that with such sincerity. It almost hurt. Before the moment could deepen, a voice rang out from the tunnel behind them. "There she is." Ethan's body moved instantly, pushing Gabriela behind him as a bullet ricocheted off stone. He returned fire, forcing the outlaw to duck. "Run to the side tunnel," he shouted. Gabriela sprinted, heart pounding. Ethan backed up, firing controlled shots until he joined her. They slipped into a narrow passage no outlaw would know existed. They crouched in the dark, breathing hard. Gabriela touched his hand just barely, but the spark was real. "You could have left me," she whispered. "Why didn't you?" Ethan's voice was low, certain. "Because from the moment I found you, I knew I wasn't leaving you to walk this world alone." Her eyes softened with a tenderness she hadn't felt in years. In that narrow passage, danger at their heels, something undeniable formed a connection deeper than fear, stronger than fate. Ethan guided Gabriela toward a hidden pit shaft he had reinforced long ago. "This leads to an old escape route," he whispered. "Outlaws don't know it exists." Gabriela nodded, trusting him completely. Their hands brushed as they approached the ladder, sending a warm jolt through both of them. "You go first," Ethan said softly. She shook her head. "I'm not letting you take the risk alone." He smiled faintly. "Stubborn as a mule, aren't you?" "Only when it comes to staying alive," she teased. Despite the danger, a small, beautiful softness hung between them. Gunshots echoed down the tunnel closer. Ethan cursed under his breath. "All right, we go together." They climbed down and emerged in a narrow cavern that opened to a ridge outside the mine. Fresh daylight spilled in. Gabriela blinked, relief washing over her. But Ethan pulled her behind a boulder. "Stay low." The outlaws exited the mine not far from them. Ethan counted their steps, measured the distance, then rose and fired. The men scattered, returning shots wildly. Gabriela watched him with awe, steady, skilled, unshaken. One outlaw charged around the ridge, toward Gabriela. She gasped, stumbling back. Ethan spun, fury blazing, and fired a single shot. The outlaw collapsed. Gabriela trembled as Ethan rushed to her. She nodded shakily. "You saved my life again." Ethan brushed a loose lock of hair from her face. "Wouldn't let anything happen to you." Their foreheads nearly touched, but another gunshot cracked through the air. The last outlaw was making a desperate escape. Ethan raised his rifle, but Gabriela grasped his arm. "No, I know him. He'll run. Let him go." Ethan lowered the gun slowly. She nodded. "He doesn't have the courage to come back." Silence settled. The danger finally passed. Gabriela's voice softened. "Ethan, what happens now?" He looked at the empty horizon. "I could keep chasing gold, but truth is, I ain't found anything worth more than what's standin' in front of me." Gabriela's breath shook. "You don't even know if I'm stayin'." He cupped her cheek, gently. "Darlin', I ain't askin' you to stay. I'm askin' if I can walk with you wherever you're going." Her heart melted. She stepped into him, resting her forehead on his chest. Ethan held her like she was the treasure he'd been searching for all along. Ethan and Gabriela walked down the mountain ridge together, sunlight warming their faces after hours of darkness. The danger was gone, replaced by a gentle hush of wind and the soft rustling of pines. Gabriela glanced at Ethan. "I still can't believe I survived all this," he chuckled. "You're tougher than you think." "And you?" she asked with a teasing smile. "Are you always rescuing strangers in abandoned mines?" "Only the ones worth saving." She blushed, looking away, but Ethan caught her hand, stopping her. When she turned back, his eyes were warm, steady. "You changed something in me," he said quietly. "I went looking for gold, but found a woman with more fire than the whole mountain." Gabriela's heart fluttered. "Ethan, I don't know where I'm headed next. I've got no home, no family waiting." He stepped closer. "Then let me be your next chapter." She searched his face, honest, rugged, hopeful. "Why me?" He brushed his thumb across her cheek. "Because when I found you in that dark tunnel, it felt like someone lit a lantern inside me. You gave me a reason to leave that mine behind." Her breath trembled. "And what if I want more than a travel partner?" Ethan smiled softly. "Then I reckon we both struck something mighty rare." Their lips met slow at first, then deep with everything they had survived. The world around them faded, leaving only the warmth of each other. When they finally pulled apart, Gabriela whispered, "What will we do now?" Ethan took her hand firmly. "We'll go to town, clear your name, maybe build something new. I ain't letting you face life alone again." She leaned her head on his shoulder as they walked toward the valley trail. "You know," she said, "you never found gold." He laughed. "Maybe not, but you found me," she finished softly. Ethan pressed a kiss to her forehead. "That's worth more than any nugget." The sun dipped low, casting long golden rays across the land as they began their journey together. To survivors who found hope, safety, and love in the unlikeliest of places. And as the wind carried the scent of pine and promise, Ethan knew one truth. Gabriela wasn't just someone he saved. She was his star there, one guiding him home. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Western stories.